Hello and welcome to the Honest Talk podcast. In this new series, I'll be talking about the lessons I learned at the Zimbabwe Entrepreneurs Trade Fair and Conference, which was held on the 21st of May 2022 at the Rainbow Hotel. I hope you have your notebooks ready and your minds opened to receive all of the nuggets I'll be sharing with you. Enjoy the episode. Today, I'm going to be sharing nuggets on the topic balancing business, family, and the social life, which was talked about by a power couple, Pascal Frank and his wife, Lwambwa. You can look them up on Google and check out their social media accounts if you don't know them. So these people dated for 6 years. They met at university in South Africa, and they've been married for 12 years now. They said they got married very young. Without wasting much time, let me just get right into the nuggets. So the first thing, I have 4 points that I'm going to talk about that they talked about. The first thing is always know the kind of life you want. So they talked about how it's important before you even get into a relationship with anyone, you as an individual need to know the kind of life that you want. You need to know where you're going. Do you want to be a very successful business person? Do you want to be very successful in the corporate world, not necessarily having your own business? Basically, and the bottom line is know the kind of life that you want. So before you get yourself entangled with anyone else, you need to know where you're going as an individual. And then the second thing they talked about was that the why is important. Even when choosing a person, when getting into a relationship, it's important to know why you're getting into a relationship with this specific person. It's important to know why you're getting married to this person. And knowing the reason why you're getting into a relationship with a person comes after you already know the kind of life that you want, so that the person that you pick to be in a relationship with or to get married with is in alignment with where you are going in your life. Then the third thing they talked about was that in the event that you are now getting into a relationship, be with someone that you can build with. Like I said, these two met at university. They were talking about how when they were in university, they used to have side hustles. They started mini companies. Like at one point, they started a cleaning company. They used to hire ladies who would go and clean. So they were the company, and the cleaning ladies were their employees. Then they would find gigs for these ladies to go and clean, like for college students who didn't have time to clean for themselves and needed other people to come clean for them. So they actually started lots of small ventures when they were still in university together, and they were able to see that they could work together. They were able to build together. They were not just two people who were wasting each other's time, but they were actually people who had the same vision. Both wanted to be hardworking, both were ambitious and wanted to go somewhere great in their lives. So that's the third point, be with someone you can build with. And the fourth point they talked about that I have here is be intentional with your time. And relating this to relationships, business, family, and the social life, they were talking about how in a relationship, you don't want to get into a relationship with someone who's just going to be like a time pusher kind of thing. You want to be with someone you can intentionally give your time to, knowing that your time is being spent productively. And when you are now married, because they were talking also in the context of marriage, because they are married now, they talked about how it's not easy balancing business, family, and also having a social life at the same time. So they were saying for them, they've realized that what works is being very intentional with their time. Like when it's time for business related things, they make sure they're very intentional in what they're doing in terms of building their businesses, in terms of running their companies, and they make sure they do it well. And then when it's time for family, they make sure they're present. They make sure they're really in the moment, being there intentionally with their family and making an effort to make sure that business does not override family or social life. They talked about how there's none of these three things, balancing business, family, and the social life. There's none that is more important than the other. If one of them fails, then the other two fail as well. And they said, if your marriage fails, the business fails. And if the business fails, then your marriage fails. So that's why it's very important to be intentional with your time, especially when you're trying to balance everything. So make the most of every moment. When you are doing serious business things, make sure you are present in the moment and you're giving it your all. And when you're spending quality time with your family or with your loved ones, make sure you're giving it 100% and you are present in the moment. Right. The next and last point that I have on this one is marriage is a business partnership. Yes, they said marriage is not just about family. It goes back to the be with someone you can build with point. So they talked about how marriage is a business partnership, and you need to make sure that when you then decide to get married, that you're making the right choice, and it's someone who can be your partner not only in marriage but also in business and in building the kind of life that you want to build. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Words of wisdom from a power couple who have shown us that you can indeed have it all. You can have a thriving business, you can have a thriving family, and a thriving social life as well. So I think these are some very important lessons for us as young people to just take away. We need to be intentional about the kind of relationships that we get into. We need to be intentional about where we're going in life, and we need to be sure that the decisions that we make on a daily basis are really taking us to where we want to go. That is it for today's episode. It was very short. I hope you managed to grab a thing or two from those things, and be sure to watch out for the next episode where I will still be talking about lessons I learned from the Zimbabwe Entrepreneurs Trade Fair and Conference. Enjoy the rest of your day.